Hello kids and mums, welcome to our channel. Today we will listen to a story about you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Deep in the heart of the whispering woods, where the trees rustled with secrets and the river sang soft lullabies, there lived a little fox named Finn. Finn was not just any fox, oh no, my dear. He was the smallest in his family. His fluffy tail was not as bushy as his siblings, and his paws were tiny compared to the others. But Finn had the biggest, brightest amber eyes, full of wonder and curiosity. Finn admired them, but sighed, whispering, "I wish I were brave like them." One crisp autumn morning, Mama Fox gathered her little ones around. "Winter is coming soon," she said, her voice warm like a hug. "We need a golden berry from the great oak to keep us strong." She turned to Finn and said, "Today, my little one, it is your turn to bring the golden berry home." Finn's ears drooped. His tail curled around his tiny paws. "But Mama, what if I get lost? What if I can't do it?" Mama Fox smiled and whispered, "My dear Finn, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think." Finn trotted carefully along the forest path. The trees stretched high above, their golden leaves whispering encouragement. Soon he reached a wide, rushing river. The water tumbled over rocks, wild and loud. Finn's heart pounded. "I can't swim across," he whimpered. But then, Finn remembered. He was smarter than he thought. He used his small paws to push the log into the river, watching as it bobbed and floated. Carefully, he stepped onto it and balanced as it carried him across. The wind clapped the leaves together, as if applauding. "I did it," Finn cheered, his little tail wagging. The path led him to a tall, rocky hill, and at the very top, bathed in golden sunlight, stood the great oak with its glowing golden berries. Finn gulped. "That's too high for me." Doubt started creeping in. His paws felt small, his legs felt weak. But then, he took a deep breath and remembered. He was stronger than he seemed. With steady paws, he placed one step after another. The rocks wobbled under him, but he didn't stop. His heart pounded, but he kept climbing. Halfway up, a strong gust of wind blew, making Finn stumble. He clung to a ledge, whimpering. Then, from deep inside, a voice whispered, "You are braver than you believe." Finn took a deep breath, steadied himself and pushed forward. Step by step he climbed until, finally, he reached the top. He plucked it gently and held it close. It was warm, like a tiny sun. "I did it," he whispered, a proud smile spreading across his face. With the golden berry safely tucked in his fur, Finn hurried home. The journey felt easier now. The river didn't seem as wide. The trees didn't feel as tall. And when he finally saw his cozy den, Mama Fox waiting at the entrance, his heart swelled with joy. "You did it, my little one," Mama Fox said, her eyes shining. Finn smiled and whispered, "I was brave, strong, and smart, just like you said." And from that day on, Finn never doubted himself again. Because now he knew. He was braver than he believed, stronger than he seemed, and smarter than he thought. Do you want another story? Let's go. Far beyond the hills and rivers, in a quiet little village, lived a girl named Lila. She had big, curious eyes and a heart full of dreams. But, oh dear, there was one little problem. Lila didn't believe in herself. Lila loved stories about the stars. Every night she would sit by her grandmother's side and listen as she spoke of the magical lights in the sky. "They are not just lights, my dear," grandmother would say, pointing to the heavens. "Each one is a dream, a wish, a brave soul shining its light for the world to see." Lila would smile, but deep down she thought, "I could never shine like them." One cold evening, as Lila sat outside watching the stars twinkle, something extraordinary happened. A golden star, bigger and brighter than the rest, wobbled and tumbled down from the sky. It streaked across the heavens, leaving a shimmering trail, and disappeared into the shadowy forest. Gasps filled the village square. The lost star, the villagers whispered. It must be returned before dawn, or it will fade away forever. The village elder, a wise old man with a long white beard, stepped forward. Someone must journey into the shadowy forest to find the star. But the shadowy forest was dark and full of mysteries. The villagers hesitated. Some stepped back, others shook their heads. Lila's heart pounded. I want to help, but what if I get lost? What if I'm not strong enough? She turned to her grandmother and whispered, I don't think I can do it. Grandmother smiled gently and took her hands. My dear Lila, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Lila took a deep breath. The words filled her with warmth. She would go. With a lantern in her hand and a tiny satchel over her shoulder, Lila stepped into the shadowy forest. The trees loomed tall, their branches whispering in the wind. Strange shadows stretched along the path, and distant hoots and rustles made her shiver. For a moment, she hesitated. What if something scary is out here? Then she remembered. She was braver than she believed. She took a deep breath and stepped forward. One step, then another. As she walked deeper into the forest, fireflies flickered around her, lighting the way. Their tiny lights reminded her of stars. Maybe she wasn't alone after all. After some time, Lila reached a wide river. The water rushed quickly, murmuring like soft voices. But, oh dear, the wooden bridge was broken. How will I get across? She whispered. She sat on a rock, thinking. The water shimmered under the moonlight. Then, she noticed something. Large stepping stones hidden beneath the water. She tested one with her foot. It was stable. Slowly, carefully, she hopped from one stone to the next. Halfway across, the wind howled, and a wave splashed her boots. She wobbled, but she didn't fall. I can do this, she whispered. Step by step, she made it to the other side. She smiled. I am smarter than I thought. Lila continued walking until she reached a tall, rocky mountain. And at the very top, oh, how magical it was, glowed the lost star, resting on a stone ledge. But the climb was steep. Her arms felt small, her legs felt weak. I can't do this, she said, her voice small. But then, she placed her hand on her heart and remembered. She was stronger than she seemed. So, with steady hands, she grabbed hold of the rocks. One step, then another. She climbed higher and higher, feeling the wind rush past her cheeks. The ground below seemed so far away, but she didn't stop. At last, she reached the top. There, resting on a stone ledge, was the lost star. It flickered weakly, its glow dimming. Lila carefully picked it up. It was warm, like holding a tiny sun. Don't worry, she whispered. I'll bring you home. Just as she turned to climb down, the wind roared louder than before. A powerful gust shook the trees, and Lila gasped as the path behind her disappeared. She clutched the star close. How do I get back? For a moment, fear crept in, but then she looked up. The stars above twinkled brighter. They weren't just stars. They were guiding her. She took a deep breath and followed their glow. Step by step, she found her way back down. When she finally emerged from the forest, the villagers cheered. She did it, they cried. Lila held up the star, and it floated up, 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 until it returned to the sky, shining brighter than ever. The village glowed in its golden light, and for the first time, Lila realized something wonderful. She had shined too. Please like the video and subscribe the channel for more bedtime story.